Hello guys, Mefix here. Today I want to talk about my Meteor build that I've been working on for past couple of days. As you maybe saw my montage, I'm using most of the stuff that I have right here that I will show you. I'm using it there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the video is in description, so check it out. And yeah, let's get right into it. So for the helmet, we want total armor, really defensive good stat that you can have, the best one I think. The resistances are garbage, we don't want that. As you know, the resistances are bugged or they don't work as intended. I don't know, it's just a terrible stat. Don't go for it. Just get armor, ignore resistances. Basically, but also we have maximum mana. Important for this build, I think, because I'll talk about it later, but if you can get 140 mana, that would be a first milestone, I think. That's really important for this build as well. I don't have it yet, but I definitely want to try out and see how it works when I have a bit more mana. Anyway, for the aspect, you have 50% more increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 50%. This uptime is insane, you always want to have this. Every Sorc build runs this, so we're gonna use it too. It's really good. I've tried it without it, I was dying a lot, so I wouldn't recommend it. Then we have a chest. This item is a must. It's really good in this build. It's really good. So we definitely want to have this one. After using teleport, close enemies are pulled to you and stunned for 3 seconds. But teleport cooldown is increased by 20%. Okay. So you basically, in this build, you don't play behind, you don't kite. Like, rarely you do that stuff. You only should do that when your cooldowns are down, but if you have a lot of cooldown reduction, like I have right now, 40%, your cooldowns should be mostly up all the time pretty much. So what you want to do is teleport in, gather the mobs and nuke them down with your meteor. This is a really great item because it will help you stack the mobs so you can hit those meteors and do massive AoE damage. So I would definitely say this item is the best one you can get and you should definitely try to get it if you want to run this build. One thing I want to note, when you teleport, all the minions will gather in one place on you, so it can happen that you get stuck into them. I don't know if it's a bug or something, but basically it works like that, and then you cannot move out or anything. So remember, you can use space and get out. So keep that in mind. If you're stuck and you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on, you know, you can use evade, get out, and you should be fine. Of course, you will use your abilities first, like Flame Shield, Frost Nova, so no reason to panic, but just so you know what can happen. Anyway, for the gloves, most important stats are like crit chance. You can get, usually like crit chance, critical hit damage, and vulnerable damage, most important stat for this build. Cooldown reduction is pretty good, but you cannot get them on the gloves. So here I have some crit chance, attack speed, quite handy. So attack speed is not bad, definitely. Lucky hit chance, as I said, I've tried to go with lucky hit chance, but I'm not so impressed. I think I'm gonna change it a bit and try to run as much critical hit damage as I can. So this will be my goal on the next upcoming days, and then of course I can update everyone on how it's going. Is it worth going or not? But I'm pretty sure lucky hit chance is not the way to go right now, unless you can have like tons of it. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, about the aspect, I'll talk about it a bit later. Really good aspect. Yeah, I just love it. For the pants, you have defensive stats, some health. Really important stat here is to get 4 ranks on Meteor, to get as much DPS as possible on Meteors. What is important when you're looking for defensive stats, except the armor, you can get damage reduction from enemies that are burning, really good. And if you can get damage reduction against close enemies, dodge chance not the best, but you know, it's something. Then we have the boots, max evade charges. I love max evade charges, so I have a lot of mobility. I can reposition a lot when my TP teleport is down, so basically really good. Ranks of Frost Nova and ranks of Teleport, one of the most important ranks you can get on any kind of source, not just this one. And of course, ranks to Meteor is a must. Of course, this is our main ability. But yeah, ranks of Frost Nova, ranks of Teleport, really, really important. So if you can get those, get it. Our aspect is while enemies are unstoppable, you deal more damage to them. Really handy against bosses, really, really good. Or against elites that are already immune to our CC because we CC them too much. So then this starts popping off, definitely. Then we have a wand. Basically, we want as much item power as possible for maximum DPS increase. We are running wand and offhand because you have like a hit chance on the wands and on the offhand's cooldown reduction, which is really good. So int is always good. Our primary stat, I think it's a really good stat. Vulnerable damage, most important one, damage to close enemy is good. Critical strike damage, as much you can get, and crit like to 40-45% would be ideal. It's not bad if you have 30-35, but you should aim for 45 or 50%. I think that's like the ideal outcome. The aspect is also one of the most important ones that we have in this build. Core master skills cost above 100 mana, gain increased critical chance. So this will determine how much DPS you do. It all depends on how can you manage your mana management basically. So this works quite well when you have your Inferno down, because as you see here in modifiers, while Inferno is active, your Pyromancy skills cost no mana. This is a talent tree, a note in chat talent tree. It's really great. So when you drop your Inferno, you can basically cast as many meters as you want. This 8 seconds. This is why this is so powerful. So every meteor, basically not every, but 90% of them, 80% of them, depends on your crit, will crit, which will do a lot of DPS. So, as I said on the neck, really important stuff, because you deal more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. So this aspect is insane. I had Essos Ferocity here, but I replaced it. I think you just have to have this one on the neck because it gives you a bonus, so you deal way more damage. For the stats, I think most important stats here you can get is movement speed, ranks of defensive skills, most important one. Then you have second most important, like 3 ranks to mastery skills, which is Meteor, but still I would definitely get it if I could. That would be really insane. Also the ranks that you cannot go without, the stat that you cannot go without is Devouring Blaze passive, +3. I think it's really important to have this one. So if you don't have it, try to reroll it or something, but for this build it's a must for sure. I will show you what this ability does basically later. On rings, critical strike damage, critical hit chance, vulnerable damage everywhere you can get, some extra health, basically the same one here. What you want for aspects is restore 1 to 4 of your primary resource when you crowd control an enemy. And here, using a cooldown restores some mana. Basically you will be pressing the cooldowns all the time, so you will get a lot of mana from this. This is how you manage mana properly. But it will take some hours until you actually get used to it and get some understanding how this build works. And offhand, you want some crit on it, cooldown reduction, and critical hit damage, I believe. I don't have that one, but yeah. This aspect, Meteor, is a situational one. I'm using it right now, but I'm planning to replace it with this one, offensive aspect of Shattered Stars. I think this one is really a great aspect which I missed so far, and I would definitely give it a go. I would definitely recommend it, because when you're throwing meteors down, the small meteors are coming down as well. These small meteors will burn the targets, which will make sure that you get maximum bonus from your damage versus burning, which we will have a lot in this build. So this will make sure that your targets are burning, so you can hit more meteors for more DPS, and yeah, definitely want to try this one. I'll go quick over my skill tree. You have 2 frostbolts. Why? We're gonna use enchantment from the frostbolt and from the meteor. So yeah, this one really important, as you can see here. Also, there's a possibility, I'm gonna test this out, to use teleport against instead of this. I'll be testing that out and we'll see how it goes, but for now I think frostbolt is really good. So yeah, he'll be chilling enemies. That's another crowd control. So we grab potent warding, 1 out of 3 devastation, really important for maximum mana. We grab flame shield here for mana cost reduction while it is up, so we can spam those meteors even more. Teleport, of course, for damage reduction. I have 12 points in here. Again, I would recommend getting as many points as you can into teleport and frost nova, because while you are speedrunning like this, it will really feel you will have a lot of stuff to press, and it just feels great. Feels great to play with such speed, not having to like wait for your cooldowns and stuff. When you're pushing keys though, it's a bit different story. I do believe you have to play a bit slowly, and so you could use these points a bit better. Maybe in these 3, grabbing Fire Research 3 out of 3, Endless Pirate, just 1 is enough, and then Warmth 3 out of 3. This will give you some good sustaining health, so you can always run this. Glass Cannon, a must. We love big dips, so we're gonna be taking this. Ice Armor, I don't think you need the ranks in this one, because it doesn't do the cooldown, only gives you more absorb damage, but the numbers are not really great, so I don't like it. For the Frost Nova, you should definitely grab some ranks into it. The cooldown goes down, which is really important for our damage, and yeah, definitely go for it. Lucky hit chance here. Align the elements. You can go with 1 out of 3, it's fine, but 3 out of 3 here and 3 out of 3 here. This will be up all the time, since you're spamming meteors, using a lot of mana. This one, you want to have your pressing, whenever you press your cooldown, basically you get a barrier. This is the only thing sorcerers has, is barriers, while other classes have a lot of damage reduction, like barbarian. You don't have that, so you have to rely on barriers for sure. Then we go meteor, we grab the immobilize, and now you get inner flames for more damage while you're healthy. And then the Warring Blade is a really important one. You deal 60% increased critical strike damage against burning enemies. If they are also immobilized, the bonus is increased by 150%. How so high numbers? You can see on this neck, as I said, ranks of the Warring Blade is really important. This will increase your critical hit damage massively, and definitely want to grab that one. Then we have our ultimate. Basically we are taking it so we can group the mobs, and so we can have like 8 seconds of spamming meteor time, basically. We're taking Essos Ferocity. Really important to understand how this ability works. So basically you get 25% more critical hit damage against healthy enemy, enemies above 50% life, and 5% critical chance against enemies that are below 50% life. And if you kill an enemy with a critical strike, you gain both bonuses against all enemies for 3 seconds, and this is when your Essos Ferocity key passive procs your aspect basically, and this is when you get tons of attack speed. You can spam those meteors, you can do a lot of damage. Just make sure that every time you're throwing meteors at your targets that they are frozen. This is really important. As you can see here, I have 208% more vulnerable damage. This is a separate stat in separate basket, that so only vulnerable damage will increase vulnerable damage, nothing else. And basically, as you want as much stat as you can get here. So when you freeze a target now and it becomes vulnerable, 200% more damage. Really insane, really insane. You want that always. So yeah, this is basically it. Some things I want to note about this build is... Oh. So that's basically it. For the Paragon, I want to show you. So this is a starting one. You know the resistances, basically. Get this. You get a middle board with a burning instinct. That's a burning instinct board. You get a flame feeder glyph here. Then you move to the right. As you can see on the right, it's a searing heat board. You have to get this one, because when you'll be casting meteors, you'll be getting more crit for 5%. This stacks 3 times. This uptime will be insane. All the time you will have it. So this is definitely a must when you're spamming meteors. You have to grab a glyph here. Adept. Really important. Skills have 20% increased area. Really important for the meteor. Mastery skill damage also really great. So grab this one. And you go here to the left. Here, this glyph tactician. It's really good as well. It will give you some additional burn damage, vulnerable damage. So you want this one. This is a frigid fate board, so just so you know. You go up. Then you get a static surge board. You can also grab this one along the way, which will help you with your mana management. But really important is to get a glyph here and to have a control glyph, which is also really insane. We definitely want this. And I'm planning to get another board here when I level up to 100. Then grab another glyph and maybe take a few nodes from here, and basically to just get another glyph, which is really important for this build, I think, just to have as many glyphs as possible. So yeah, that's basically it. Gameplay wise, I would say give this build a chance. I would not recommend it, as I said, if you're like level 50 or something. Just make sure that you're at least 70, 75. And as you're grinding those levels along the way, make sure to save some gear up if you can. And so when you transition to this build, you actually so you have some stuff to work with, some stats. Because without stats, this build is really hard. So it can work. You can make a budget build for sure. If you follow some of the stuff that I just said, definitely can be doable. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this build. I'm gonna be posting a gameplay soon. It could be in a day or two. I'll be pushing some keys, maybe 60 or something, so you can see a gameplay, how it works. I will be also doing a commentary, so you know what I'm doing, and yeah, I hope you learn a lot. Same for this video, and leave a like, subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And if you have some suggestions, feel free to ask in the comments. I'm still testing this build, so definitely any good stuff can help for sure. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.